Hi everyone. Welcome to DrupalCon, and I'm really happy to be virtually present here. Since most of the time, apart from the COVID thing, we gather around. I'm missing all of those stuff, but it's a good luck for us that we are able to join these cons virtually, and let's get started with today's session. So today I'll be talking about this session, that is driving today's CMS with tomorrow's artificial intelligence. So before moving on to the session, let me introduce myself. So I am Jyoti Singh, and you can reach me out on Twitter with my handler Jyoti@2911. You can post it up any questions, whatever doubts do you have regarding this session or anything else, you can reach me out with this handler. And I am a technical lead at Sridhar Technologies, and I'm a Drupalist since last 5 years. And I really love everything about Drupal, and I love this community. And I'm really happy to be part of the DrupalCon today. So let's quickly dive into the topics that we are going to cover for this session. So this would be what is machine learning and artificial intelligence. So basically, this is a beginner session. So I'll be starting up and covering some of the theoretical aspects of machine language and artificial intelligence. And then how can we use this artificial intelligence in the business? We'll be discussing some of the use cases around it. And then how does the artificial intelligence and machine language fit into our Drupal ecosystem? How can we get most out of it in our Drupal system? And then we'll be discussing about some of the examples like Azure Cognitive Services and Google Vision API services that can be used for machine learning. And then we'll be following up with a live demo, and then we'll have some question and answers around it. Okay, I think so far so good. So let's start with machine learning. So I would not really play around the jargon as to what is the machine learning, what is the artificial intelligence, but in very layman language, machine learning is making your machine do a specific task by feeding some of the inputs that you want it to work and work intelligently. So giving a very simple analogy of a human and a machine. So like when we are born, we don't know anything about it, right? We don't know how to walk, we don't know how to talk. And when we grow, we are capable of doing everything. Like when we see that how people are walking, we start walking. When we hear that how people are talking, then we start talking. So what are the experiences that we learn all around us is making more and more efficient years and years, and we are capable to do all the things that a human brain and the body can function. So similarly is our machine. So what machine does it? You feed in some algorithms and it start working. So whenever you want your machine to act intelligently without programming, what you can do is feed in a lot of variety of data and making learn out of those data as to what task that he should do accordingly. So in a very simple example, if you want your machine to have a distinction between a cat and a dog, what you'll do is feed in some of the variety of images like a set of dogs and different breeds and cats in different breeds. So your machine would be statically strategizing that a cat is going to have a small nose and a dog is going to have a larger nose. And the dog is going to have a bigger ears and the cats are going to have a smaller ears. So that's why strategically your machine is learning day by day with all the data that you are feeding. So the more data you have and the variety of data you are making your machine to learn every day, it's growing just like.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you please make your microphone a little bit louder? There is some noise in the background. A little bit.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Is it fine now?
It is slightly better.
Okay, sure. So sometimes there is a confusion between what is AI and what is ML.
And I truly find sometimes I feel myself set up in the jargons like what is machine learning and how do you fit it as an artificial intelligence world. So let's take a dig into what all does mean in this system. So artificial intelligence are basically a broader aspect, and machine learning and deep learning are a part of artificial intelligence. Artificially intelligent system is something that is fully automated system as per human that works intelligently by itself, wherein machine learning needs some of the inputs from human to build over some data, to collate few things, and then the machine learning can explicitly be programmed in a fashion that it learns slowly and steadily. And then the deep learning is also a smaller set of machine learning and artificial intelligence, where the machine is neutral in respect to network adapts and learn a vast amount of information with respect to the data. So it's more or the data driven, but it's not as intelligent as artificial intelligence, but it's a subdomain of artificial intelligence. So a very real life example that I can think about is Netflix. So nowadays, most of the users, most of the consumers, there are a lot of users on Netflix, right? So Netflix is having a tons of data about their customer throughout the world. And some of the things like recommendations that you see in Netflix that pops up as per your likings, and the thumbnails that you'll see that you get attracted to most of the time are really personalized as per user. So your another user in Netflix might be getting some other recommendation as per the history or the data that he's been seeing and watching. And similarly, you might be getting some other information and recommendation. So slowly and steadily, the system is becoming intelligent enough to generate and learn how the user information can be collated and can be worked in very giving a better user experiences to user. So similarly, other industries are also emerging in terms of intelligence and machine learning to have a better user experience and develop a greater intelligent platform. Okay, so here is a stat that's regarding the artificial intelligence market that has grown from 2014 and has a statistical statics around what will be its growth in 2025. So you can see from this growth there has been exponential adoption of artificial intelligence in many industries. So starting from 2014, 418.9 USD millions to 35,870 USD millions growing to 2025. So this is how the intelligence market, artificial intelligence market is going towards. So this is to give you a fair idea as to, I'm not just digging into the technical aspect of this topic, but as to how is the market adoption and how is the business perspective of artificial intelligence growing. So this is also a very beautiful stats in terms of the adoption rate of artificial intelligence in industries. So some of the industries like technology and communication, automotive, financial and bankings, media and entertainment, like I give you the example about Netflix. These are the adoption rate in terms of adopting the artificial intelligence in their sector. And one of the booming sector that I see is a healthcare sector, wherein we are having a system that is operating itself like robotic surgery, like virtual nursing and automated administration. So these are some of the very beautiful use cases brought around and change and bringing a revolution in technology sphere and other sphere like listed here. Okay, so coming up to the main topic is can Drupal lead a AI-centric future for digital business? So we've been talking about a lot about AI and machine learning, but the focus can be that can it be a part of the Drupal? Can it be a part of the CMS and make your management system, content management system intelligent enough to bring out something out of it for your user experiences or your content editor experiences? So this is something that we are going to discuss further in this presentation. Okay, so some of the use cases and business value that artificial intelligence has is increasing competitive advantages and improving efficiency. So automating any of the system is increasing the efficiency of your system, right? Similarly, advance in the automated interaction with your customer. So for example, when we are having bots, when we are having automated ticketing system, then it is in turn increasing greater user experience with your system. Similarly, enhancing customer intimacy in terms of understanding what your customer wants, providing him a better personalization with your system is something that artificial intelligence can provide. Then identifying patterns in behavior and leveraging those data. So similarly, you can target the audience in your market by studying the behaviors and the pattern that he is usually having whenever he's accessing some of your applications. So for example, when a user is accessing an e-commerce website, and in the e-commerce website, he's likely to buy almost every time the same kind of product. So you are actually accessing those data and then assessing it to understand what your user want. And then you can create a great personalization for your user, for your applications. So these are some of the very high level artificial intelligence use cases. So discovering some of the opportunities in Drupal ecosystem, a very high level understanding of how we can implement AI in our system is we can have content moderation. So what does content moderation mean in content management system is we can have a control over what content is being published and what content is being used in our system. So in a CMS, the content is the soul of your application, right? So whenever the user or whenever the editor is going to add some of the content, there can be a moderation with AI, wherein whenever there is a large set of content being created in your system, you can analyze and you can moderate it accordingly. So for example, if you want that there is the system should not have some sensitive data that can create some problem, then you can have a moderation around it and make your content management system understand that such type of content should not be added to your system. So this is a place where content moderation can come in, and there can be a good opportunity to explore. Similarly, analyzing customer mood. So for example, if there is an e-commerce site and the customer is not at all happy with few of your products, then you can make your system understand that the customer is not happy with this product and we need to understand that what's happening there. So we can eventually explore that the product is not apt or the product should not be personalized for this user. Hence, experiencing of the user is increasing with all the data and the analytics that you're providing to your system. Similarly, for the SEO, a large number of companies invest a huge amount in SEO, integrating partnering with few companies. So SEO can also be automated to few extent with your artificial intelligence, wherein you can make your system understand to generate automated meta tags, automated keywords, with every time understanding that what your user is actually searching for and what are the maximum keywords and how do you increase your search engine optimization. Similarly, chatbots are being adopted by most of the applications to automate and increase user interaction with your system. So the more information your bot has with respect to the customer, he can provide a better feedback and better interaction to your user. Personalization, as I already talked, personalization is a very good use case around artificial intelligence, wherein every customer can has a detailed set of personalization within your system, given that he has your system has apt information about that user to provide him a personalized experience in your application. And other examples are something like visual searches that we'll be talking about in this presentation. Okay, so digging in more, so the problem statement that most of the people have is starting up. So when we have this conversation and adopting and creating an application in our organization itself, so the very first thing that we need to understand is, does AI have a potential to improve or fit in your business? So very small scale businesses do not thrive the need of adoption of AI. Very huge businesses, very huge projects that are likely to be focused over user experience should be the one who should strategize over how can we adopt AI in our system. So not all businesses can fit into those scope. So that is the first step to assess that do you really need AI in your system? Then the next step would be, where do you actually start from? So there are a lot of AI services in the market, and which services should you actually use? How should you model them in your projects? What should be development planning and strategies? So these are the two very important things that I understood in our conversations previously that we need to understand before adopting any new changes in our system. Okay, so where do we actually start? Okay, so there are a lot of use cases that we discussed earlier regarding this topic, but one of the very important use cases regarding the content editor. Since since Drupal is very powerful CMS, and most of the applications that we develop in the CMS are content driven, right? So the focus should be more over the content editor. So how can we make the CMS easy to use for the content editors to automate few of his work and make the application better in terms of usability for them? So, so what can we do in terms to empower the CMS editor? So the end users are the one who come over to the site, who navigate through your contents, but the main responsibility and the main driver for your applications are the CMS editors. So what we are trying to solve here is to be more focused, is we are trying to empower CMS editor with few of the use cases that we are trying to solve. Okay, the first thing we discuss is what problem statement we are trying to solve, and the next step that we are going to go is how do we solve that. So the two services that I was talking about is Azure Cognitive Services API. So let's talk about it. So these are the list of services that has been provided by Azure. So you can see vision, speech, language, knowledge, and search. So these all APIs are easily available. Let me show you a very quick, you can go to Google and this is just for with respect if you want to experiment something around it. Okay, so when you say Azure Cognitive Services free trial, there are cognitive services that are available to you for 7 days trial. So you can go to this portal, that is for the Azure Microsoft's portal, and there are the list of the services that are actually available. So what I aim to solve here is you can go here and explore all type of the APIs like computer vision, like face detection, speech services like translating your speech to text, face detection, computer vision like analyzing your images. And these are all the intelligent API services that has been provided by Microsoft Azure. So you can go here and create an account and you'll be given few keys and a few endpoints, and you can use it for 7 days free trial. Okay, so this is the list of provision speech languages. There are a lot of API services around computer vision, emotions, face videos. Then for your speech, there can be speech recognition system, speech translator system. Similarly, for languages, there can be linguistic analysis, understanding, analytics around it. So these are the set of, this is a vast area where you can explore. I think this session is not enough to talk about all of these things, but yeah, this is a heads up wherein you can start over the things. The next is Google Vision API. So Google Vision API is also just like Azure Cognitive Services. It also provides you set of the APIs, and you can try it out here. So I've provided a link in this box. Okay, sorry. So after the session, what you can do is you can go here. Okay, so here it's the cloud.google.com Vision Docs. So you can go here and it provides an interface where you can try to analyze few of the images. Okay, so when you put in this image, you can see that some of the object that it has already recognized is lighting, houseplant, pillow, and bed. So you can see that you've just input, the input that you've provided here is an image, and the system is so intelligent that it's detecting all of the objects automatically. So this can be very good for content editor in terms of creation of contents and generating label, tags, and etc. with respect to the content that he's providing. So this is just a very small example in terms of the image analysis. Similarly, similar analysis can be done in terms of text and large set of the content that can be provided to these systems. So categorization, taggings on the system. So these are some of the broader use case that we can think about in terms of a content management system. So similarly, you can see there are a lot of labels available out here like room, interior design, flower pot, floor, bed. The text, it's actually, you can even extract the text. You might have seen many applications available that extract text from the images. So these are actually using these services only. So the properties, you can see it has extracted set of the colors. So when I was talking about the visual searches, you can segregate your content with respect to analyzing their color and automate the virtual search in your system. And some of the other thing that it provides is also a safe search, which categorize your image and the content with respect to, is it adult, spoof, is it medical, does it contain any violence content, or is it a racy content? So similarly, when we talked about the content moderation, we can have a safe search detect. For example, if you do not want adult content to be published in your system and you want a moderation around it, you can have a safe search check for your content also. So this is a very good place where you can explore this API and try different things with it. So I've shared the same in my presentation also. So after the session, you can have a look on the same. Okay, so the same example, the live example that I demonstrated, it's something like getting all the labels, that thing I was talking about, extracting some text. So it's extracting some text. So these are some of the very beautiful use cases and beautiful examples that I can think of. So when we think about will computer takes our job? So thinking about all these things, we think, okay, do the system will actually need human? And some people say certainly not, because artificial intelligence is actually going to be future, and it's going to be a revolution in an industry. But yeah, we do are important in the system. So where can we use this system? So summarizing few of the use cases would be focus, keyword and tag generation in a CMS system. Then we can have keyword suggestion for the images. That is also important for SEO. So SEO friendly alt text suggestion. So alt text suggestion is mostly manual and it's a bit time consuming. But if we are automating a system, we are making sure that it's working efficiently. Though it's not 100% accurate system, the system is slowly learning as you are providing the data. So I wouldn't say the system and this integration provide 100% efficiency, but yeah, it works to some extent. That would be around 70 to 80% efficient. So content moderation, like I already told, for nudity or for any adult or any violent content that you want to provide content moderation on. Then there can be meta description creation, automation, and sentimental analysis and customer engagement can also be included. So I'll talk about the sentiment analysis in my coming demo. So we can leave it for this now. Okay. Another very good use case is a text summarization. So I'll tell you where this text summarization comes from. Is there are a lot of content driven sites like editorial site, wherein there are a lot of contents that the editors need to put in, and then he needs to create summaries out of it. To create some tags for the content. So similarly, summarization is a technique of automating and creating a summary out of a large set of content. So there are two techniques. One is extractive and one is abstractive. So extractive is a technique wherein the summary is created from your large set of data from the same content. So you will find similar lines of the contents in the extractive summary. But abstractive summary works in a way that it brings out the gist of your content and summarize it in some small set of sentences. So this is how extractive and abstractive summarization work. So this is all things that I've been talking about are more for a theoretical perspective. Then we'll see the analyzation with respect to when we'll have the live demo. Okay, so I think we are good for the demo. Okay. So this is a website that I've created. So this is just for the demo purpose, and it's an e-commerce site. So I'm logged in as an admin right now because I want to show what editorial experience that these integration are actually providing us. So the very first thing that I wanted to show is these are the list of the products that I have in my system. And when I go here, and I see, okay, this is a product, and I can see in the comments that somebody has posted such a beautiful bag. So you can see the system has generated two things. One is key phrase and another is sentiment score. So when we are talking about sentiment score is analyzing how your user mood is. For example, somebody has posted such a beautiful bag and the sentiment score is 0.92. So it's out of 1. It means that it's a good comment. So similarly, if you see for other products, I think I have one. So you can see worst bag ever purchased. So some user has commented that worst bag ever purchased, and the sentiment score here is 0.06. That is very low. So these score actually is very helpful for your system for use cases like whenever somebody is putting in some not very good comments for your products, either you can send in some notification to provision user that you have entertained his comment, and some automated mail system that will say, okay, sorry for your inconvenience, we will try to improve the quality of the product. Similarly, if you want more good customer engagement and your product quality to be maintained, you can delete all these comments and add moderation to these comments also. So for example, you make your system understand that whenever you get a sentiment score that is less than 3, then there should be a moderation and some admin is going to approve those comments. You don't want such comments to be populated under your products so that other customer do not get a very good feedback regarding these products. So this is very good live case around the sentiment score. Similarly, key phrase are something that is an extraction of the content phrases and the tags, and similarly these can be used for SEO purposes. So this was with respect to one use case that I bought with respect to customer engagement. Let's see with regard to a content. So I'll edit one of the article that I've created here. Okay, so let's not take this content. I'm just, so what I'm going to do is I'll create my little green dress. Okay, satin. I'm going to create a content around the satin green dress, and I'm going to pick up some of the content. Okay, so I've picked up content here and I'm adding these content here. I'm just going to remove few of the images. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more content. Let's add more content here. Okay. So now what I have here under my content is I am going to have a large set of data here. But I need to generate a summary of all these data for my SEO purposes or for putting up into some list and creating some of the sharing content for my social media. So I'm going to click on the generate extractive summary. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not working with the new content, but yeah, let's see with the same content all good. So I've added this content here, and when I generate extractive summary, you can see so it is actually pulling up the summary from this content from the same content. So you will find some of the lines that are available in the content as a part of the summary also. But when I click on the extractive summary, it's generating just the gist out of the content that the system is recognizing. So hence, this is a good example wherein we are giving the content editor an automated system to generalize and generalize a summarization of huge contents. So this can be one of the use cases that I can think about in terms of content editor. Okay, so let's talk about image analysis. The image analysis that I already demonstrated can be integrated in Drupal system as well. So let's search for the green dress. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate image colors. So later on, what I'm going to do is with these colors, I'm going to add on to this field. And what I can do is have a separate set of virtual search in my commerce website. So, so you can see all of these, and you can add these colors as well. So right now I have not added the RGB's value here, but you can see the illustration and later on add the RGB value also and add it as a part of your field. Similarly, generate image labels. So just to save the time of the editor, what we can do is we can add a provision here to generate the image labels. So you can see clothing, arm, finger, sleeves, shoulder, dress. So some of the things we can automate here, and so the most suitable image label that I think of in all these set, I can add into my image tag. Then there is the Safe Search Detection. Then I've clicked on the Safe Search Detection. So this demo is just to illustrate how we are integrating it to our system, but you can add content moderation likely on the basis of the Safe Search Detection. So if you see this is not an adult content, it says it's very unlikely. If you can see violence, very unlikely. It's very unlikely or unlikely. And if you feel safe, if your system feels good to publish this content, then you can save, and your system will publish your content automatically. And if you think that it's likely to be not a content that you want it to get published, then you can have a moderation on these content. Okay, I think we are done with the demo. That's all I had for the demo. And okay, so I've added few of the links here for the content references, and I'll be sharing these slides will be available on the SAI website, and I'll be posting it on my profile as well. So you can have a look over the cognitive services, keyword extraction, and Google Vision API. And my Twitter handler is Jyoti2911. And you can tell me that how did you feel about the session, and if you weren't able to put up some question here, I can reply back to you on the same. Okay, I think that's it. I'm done with the session. Now I can take up some of the questions. Okay, okay. The first question that I have here is from Thomas. To create an abstract or abstract from a summary, are there many languages supported currently or only English? So Thomas, all the languages are actually being supported. The API that I'm currently using is my own organization built-in summary extraction APIs. But many other API summarization APIs are also available that supports multiple languages. So I can probably share that on my Twitter account. So Roy has a question. So what Drupal module did you use and are publicly available? So Google API services modules are already available on this. Let me show you here. I think this will give you a better idea. I think I'm using this one. I'll open up and show. This is what I usually do for the modules. This gives a very good idea. Okay, so if I go to the contrib one, so Azure Cognitive Service API, Azure Emotion API, Azure Phase API, Azure Text Analytics, Vision API, these all are the publicly available modules on Drupal.org. You can download all of these contrib modules and play around. Similarly, for Google one, Google Cloud Vision API is available, and you can play around these modules as well. And there are tons of other modules itself, but most of them are unsupported and are not working. So these are the ones that are actually working and work for me. For others, they are older releases and are not compatible with any of the Drupal system. So these are the best ones that I could find about and run through my system. And Missy had a question. So generating summary is cool. How you did this? Are you using any API? Yes, Missy, as I already told that this is the API system that has been generated by our AI team in our organization, but there are other APIs also available, and I've used it also. And I'll put it something on my Twitter handle. You can Twitter profile. You can look around it. Okay, so do we have any other questions? Okay, sorry for the audio, guys. Okay, there is a question from Prakhar. So question is you spoke about content moderation. What if there is a website in which the user has to post an article, which is a big article, for example, for a blog site? In such a case, how will the content moderation work to prevent the user from uploading an article that falls in the category of hate speech or something that is restricted to post? So, Prakhar, just like image analysis, cognitive services also provide text analytics. So text analytics provide you all these information just like image analysis that will give you that this text is legitimate or not. Does it contain some spoof? Does it contain some controversial text? Does it contain some sensitive information? Or that you don't want your publisher to put in the content. So these are text analytics for the cognitives as well as for the Google provision you with all these information. I can share in more information also on that. Yeah, Sarah, I think, let me know if you can see my screen. I think it will be visible. So you can take a snapshot of this one. These are, so domains one are not the one. So the Azure Cognitive Services and the Azure modules that you are seeing right now here, the Azure Cognitive Services, Azure Emotion API, Azure Face API, Azure Text Analytics, Azure Vision API, and similarly Google Cloud Vision module. So these are all the modules that are publicly available on Drupal.org. It's the only trick with that is you need to create an account, free trial account on azure.microsoft.com for using these APIs, and you need to have a billing account on cloud.google.com. So you need to have a billing account, you need to add some information on the Cloud Vision APIs. And all these steps are already provided in the README for all these modules. I hope I answered most of the questions. Yeah, thank you everyone. Let me know if there are other questions. You can post these questions on LinkedIn, and you can post this up in the Twitters as well. Okay, thank you everyone. Hope you enjoy your DrupalCon. Thanks.